Okay, we're gonna do a game of classified information on Board Game Geek, and right now the game is in alpha, but we're hoping to release the beta pretty soon. I am doing this because I think it's helpful to see a full game from start to finish, um, and also I'm going to try to explain the rationale behind my moves. I think that's helpful to both re-emphasize the rules, but also highlight a little bit of the strategy that goes into the game. Okay, let's start up the game. Okay, we're using a blend of different decks, and that includes promo cards, um, including very recent promo cards that are for the Dice Tower um, uh, Kickstarter campaign. So those are not even available in physical form yet, but they are available in digital form. So um, I am going to start off by eliminating what I can on my wheel here. And I'm seeing two ones, so I can eliminate both of those ones. I know that they are not my opponent's suitcase, which is helpful. Remember, I'm trying to end the game with a card in my hand that matches one of the numbers in my opponent's code, and they're trying to do the same thing. So I can eliminate both of those ones. I can eliminate 1-5, and the guild affiliation for this is an assassin, so I can eliminate the red 5. And the 6s and the 3s and the 9s, they don't have that type of guild affiliation. They are only sentinels, so I can eliminate 1-6, and then once I see the second 6, I'll eliminate both. So a good move to start here would be to use this high-tech bookends, which says show another card from my hand, and then my opponent has to tell me whether or not their suitcase number is in between those numbers. So if I show the 5, my opponent will have to tell me if their number is between 1 and 5. 5 is a good one to use because that eliminates, almost half the wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy with a 5. It does give my opponent a little bit of information. I have to show the 5, but this is great because now I learn. No, my suitcase is not one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will eliminate each of those, and now I can focus on this half of the wheel. So right now I want to end the game with something like a 7 or an 8. That would be the best, and hopefully I eliminate that even further as we go forward. Okay. My next move will most likely to be to play this one, and I will probably choose a number. This one, Fortune Teller, lets me eliminate um, a number plus or minus 2 from the number I guessed. So if I guess, for instance, if I guess a 9, I already know it's not a 1 or a 2, but it'll let me know if it's an 7 or an 8. But if it isn't, it really only eliminates the 6. So I have to be kind of careful in how I choose a number with this. If I choose 1, might be the best because then it'll help me determine whether it's 8 or 9 or 6 or 7. So let me do that. Oh, I know it's not a 9. I've just seen both of the 9s. Oh no, so this is sorry. So this is my opponent's playing the 9. He's giving me a card from his hand, and I have to choose a card from my hand to give in return. So it looks like he did have two 9s because he's giving me the 9 in my hand, and he also played the 9. So that's helpful because now I know his suitcase card can't be the 9. I definitely don't want to give him this 1, so I'll give him the 5. The 5's cool because if you are able to assassinate it, you can choose something from the discard pile. And here, I mean, there are good cards in this card pile, but it's also helpful to give you a little flexibility later in the game when you want to get the right card. Okay, well, I drew a 5 back anyway, so that didn't hurt me too badly. I still want to play this 1, and I think at this point, what would be helpful? I think eliminating the 8 would be helpful. So I still want to guess the 1. So I'm going to deploy. I'm going to say, is your suitcase number between plus or minus 2 of 1? And he says no. So I can eliminate the 8. So I know his number is either a 6 or a 7, um, which is helpful. So if I keep this 5 would help me go after the 6. but it's more likely his number is a 7 than a 6. It's a 66% chance it's a 7 and a 33% chance it's a 6. But perhaps I can eliminate one of those even further as we go farther into the game. The 9 does not help me at all at the end of the game, so I want to use that to, put down as a guard or even for its ability. But I know it does not help me get to either a 7 or a 6. And I'll keep that in mind because you always want to think about both what a card can do for you, in terms of its ability, but how valuable is that card for you at the end of the game. Right now, the 9 could potentially be more valuable to get a card I need if it happens to be in my opponent's hand. Decoy guard's neat because if he does get assassinated, the opponent has to tell me information. He has to tell me a number in his code. So if that number is a 7, it doesn't help me eliminate either of these. But if he told me either 5 or 8, that would help me choose between the 6 or the 7. So I'm going to play that just because it's both good to have an extra guard and because if he does assassinate it, I do get some information. And then we'll take it from there. He has a guard also, so I can try to assassinate it with the 9. And I might do that. Because again, the 5 is the only card right now that's helping me towards the end game goal. I really would prefer to have a 6 or a 7 or even an 8, because the 8 gives me a chance at the 66% likelihood number, while the 5 only gives me the chance at the 33% likelihood number. Okay, there's a 3. The 3 requires that my opponent tell me the guild affiliation. So that's helpful because if he tells me that, tells you one guild affiliation that's not their suitcase. So if he tells me it's not an assassin or it's not a guard, that doesn't actually help me all that much. If he tells me it's not Sentinel, that helps me, but there are 2 outcomes there that don't help me all that much. The 3 does not help me at all in terms of endgame. So I'm going to just put that down as a guard because right now we're in a little bit of a race here. It looks like to to have the most guards. He might have. It was silly of me earlier in the game to give him a 5. Now that I'm looking at this, I gave him a card that could help him match my card, but he didn't play it. I mean, he didn't hold on to it, which is great. So my silliness there didn't actually hurt me as much as it could have. But so both 5s are not available to him, but both 7s are. So he definitely could be looking for a 7, and he just flipped all the guards in the game. So by using spotlights, that's a cool card because it flips everything, and then he gets to choose 2 of them to determine a range to ask me if my suitcase is in between them. So he chose 5 and 2. And because my suitcase is a 6, I told him I'm not within that range. So he was able to eliminate 2, 3, 4, and 5 from that move. I just drew a 6. That is great because 6 goes after the 7s and the 6. And I know for sure that he's not blocking the 6. And he can't block the 6 because I have the other one. So this is a very good card draw for me. I do want to block further because I want to win the guard race. Because if this does come down to a tiebreaker, I want to be able to prevail that way. So I want another guard. So let's think. But let's think about this. I can play the 9 as a guard. I can't play the 5 as an assassin, but I can play the 9 as an assassin or a guard. The problem is if I play this 9 as an assassin, it actually doesn't kill either of these cards. Um, but perhaps he'll play another guard, and I can try it on that one. So I'm going to just play this 5 as a guard because that's the most valuable thing that I can do. And then if he plays a third guard, I'm going to try to assassinate it with this 9. I don't know if it'll be successful, and if it's not, then we'll both have 3 and 3. But he does have an extra move after that. So that's a bit unfortunate. So even if so a couple things can happen here. If I am successful, he can just play another guard. If I'm not successful, um, then he can try to assassinate one of these. So he's most likely got the upper hand in the tiebreaker. But I'm still going to try to do my best here. Okay, so that was successful. So that helps a great deal. Because now I've assured at least a tie. At least a tie. Because he can't have a 6 because I have it, so he can't block the 6. We know for a fact his suitcase number is either a 7 or a 6, and what is he doing with that? He's assassinating a guard. Okay, assassinating. So we're down to 2. So we both have a match, and we both had 2 guards, and this is going to be a tie. Well earned tie. This was a good one. Thanks, guys, for watching.